Hey guys, I'm back with the series on fundamental rights where we are discussing about UPSC Mains previous year questions from the year 1979 till the year 2016. This is something brief about me. As you can see, I've done masters in IT and MCA, that is double PG, post graduation. I'm basically working as a lecturer for past 3 years. Before that, I was working as PHP developer. Before that, I used to work as a freelancer. Teaching is my passion and something about my hobby, and you can contact me on this particular email ID if you have any doubt or query. I'll happy to help you. Now let's start with the discussion. In last lecture, that is in lecture number 5, we have completed our discussion till question number 8. Now, in this particular question, we'll start discussing from question number 9. So, what this question states that what is the status of right to property in Indian Constitution? Now, this question was asked in the year 1999, paper 2, question number 9, sub question E, and it is just asked for 3 marks. So, basically, I'm discussing this question here because it obviously going to help us in prelims exam, not in mains. It is not important basically now with respect to mains, but obviously it will help in prelims. So right to property, article 31, which states that right to purchase, hold and dispose of movable as well as immovable property. This was fundamental right, but in the year 1978, under the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act, we have made some changes in a fundamental right. So remember, fundamental rights are also amendable, but in some specific conditions only. Now, because of socialist concept of constitution, right to property was deleted from the list of fundamental rights by 44th Amendment Act 1978. Now this is one of the most important part. We have to remember this. And now this particular fundamental right, former fundamental right, now it is a part of Article 300A in Part 12 of the Constitution. Now let's discuss the next part. Before discussing about this next question, we have to discuss something. What is Article 15? So what is Article 15 in Part 3 of Indian Constitution? It prohibits of discrimination on grounds of RRCSP, that is race, religion, caste, sex or place of birth. Except this, one can discriminate based on qualification, based on skills and many other things, but not based on race, religion, caste, sex or place of birth. No citizen can be refused to access allotments of shop, admission to educational institution and many other things. So this is something just brief about Article 15, which is important in a prelims point of view. And we have already discussed the same thing in detail, where we have already discussed one previous year UPSC mains question in my last lecture, that is lecture number 5. Here is the link is given, and after this lecture I'm going to upload the same slides in description of the this video, so you can download the slide from there only. Now let's start the discussion. Here it is given question number 10. Discuss the constitutional provision regarding right of children. Remember, rights of children we have to discuss. Now when we talk about rights of children, it is not specific to fundamental rights only, but there are some provisions related to DPSP as well, that is part 4 of Constitution, Directive Principles of State Policy. So first we'll discuss about some of the provisions under fundamental rights, and then we'll discuss some of the provisions which are given in part 4 of the Indian Constitution, that is DPSP. So let's start with discussion. Our Constitution makes special provisions for rights of children. Some provisions are, for example, Article 15 we have already discussed now, where one cannot prohibit on the grounds. Remember, only word we have to write this way in mains exam. Only means only on race, religion, caste, sex or place of birth. I have made one mnemonics here. You can just remember this way, RRCSP. Now next particular part is Article 23 of Fundamental Rights, where we basically prohibits traffic in human beings, means buying, selling of people or women or child like some goods. It is strictly prohibited under Immoral Traffic Prevention Act 1956, which prohibits or prevention against buying, selling of man, women, children like goods, immoral traffic in women and women and child, including prostitution. Devdasi, a ritual where they force women to work like a prostitution in for sake of gods. So, and last is slavery. Slavery, we can say about conditions of Negro before during the time of American Revolution, where they have to where they used to buy African people to work in their farms, and they basically behave keep them like as slaves. Now, next is some exceptions are there. What are the exceptions? That if for the security of state, if government applies military service or some social service, that point of time some exceptions are given here. So these are some exceptions. And now Article 24. What is Article 24? Express provides that children below the age of 14 years shall not be employed. Remember, Article 24 of Indian Constitution prohibits to employ children again below the year of below 14 years of age. You are not supposed to hire any children who is below the age of 14 in some hazardous or mines or factories. It is officially a crime. Next is Article 21A, which provides right to education. Remember, right to education, 86th Amendment Act in the year 2002. The one of the most important part, you can use it for writing essays. We can use it while writing answers in GS2, as well as we can use it while writing answers in ethics paper as well. We can use it at many places. So what is right to education? State shall provide free and compulsory education for all the children between the age 16 to 14 years. Remember, 6 to 14 years. Now, there are some case also related to this particular article. That is, one is Mohini Jain case in the year 1992, where Supreme Court held that every citizen has right to education and it is a fundamental right. Now, because of this, few of these cases, we have made amendment in the year 2002. That amendment is called as 86th Amendment Act. So as you can see, we have government have taken a reference from this particular case, as well as from the case of Unnikrishnan case, that is in the year 1993, where RTE, that is right to education, as part of Article 21, Supreme Court also narrowed down the scope. Remember, Supreme Court has just narrowed down a scope for right to education. Why? Because there are many states in India which are not that rich and they cannot provide this type of services to their children. So if government have enough funds, then only they can run, or then only they make education compulsory for children above the age of 14 years. So until they complete 14 years of age, beyond that it is depend on capacity of resources of the state. So before 14 years it is compulsion for states, but after 14 years it is a voluntary task for state to provide education to their children. Now, one of the most important part, that is RT Act, was passed in the year 2009 to actualize this particular things. Now, one of the most the crux which we need to remember, Article 21A. Remember, before right to education was in Article 21, then we made it Article 21 Part A. Remember, Article 21 Part A in the year 2002 under 86th Amendment Act. Next part is Article 39E. Now remember, we already know about DPSPs, that is Directive Principles of State Policy. What is DPSP? A guidelines to be followed by government in the governance. What do we mean by governance? Framing laws for the state or for welfare of state. Now in DPSP, as we know, part 4 of Constitution, and in that part Article 36 and 37 contains meaning and application of directive principles, and Article 39 to 51 constitutes of directive principles of state policy. Remember, Article 39 to 51 mainly constitutes directive principles of state policy. Now, as we can read here, Article 39E, so obviously it is a part of DPSP, says that tender age of children are not to be abused. What we mean by this? If we should not suppose to hire children's we're not supposed to hire them in some hazardous works, or we should not uh, uh, we should not one should not exploit the children's. Remember this. And then under Article 39, Clause F is inserted by 42nd Amendment Act. Remember 42nd Amendment Act in the year 1976 directs that the state to give children opportunity and facility to develop in a healthy manner and in conditions of freedom of dignity, and also that childhood and youth are protected against exploitation. So it provides it basically Article 39 Clause F provides some directives to states where they can make rules which protects them against exploitation. At the same time, they also provides freedom and dignity. Remember this. Now next is Article 41. This is just an extra part not related to children's, but we can add in essay or quote in essay. That's why I have added this particular part, where education to old and sick or disabled person, that is also one of the DPSP or directive principles of state policy. Then Article 45 as amended by 86th Amendment Act of 2002 now directs the state to provide early childhood care. Remember, basically under the age or before or till the age 6 years, they should provide early childhood care and education for all the children. So before we have discussed about right to education from the year 6 to 14 years, and this article directs the state to provide childhood care and education till the age 6 years. It is also a fundamental duty as now inserted by 86th Amendment Act numbering Article 51A Clause K, that parents or guardians is to provide opportunity for education to his children or ward between the age of 6 and 14. So remember this Amendment 86th Amendment Act, which added fundamental duty, which states that parents now are responsible to provide education to their children between the age 6 and 14. Then one again extra article important for other types of question. Now Article 46, state shall promote special care of education of weaker section, that is SC, STs. So under Article 46 of DPSP, basically we have made a provisions where we have to provide quality educations to scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and other backward classes. All this provision made under Constitution aim at all over development of our children's. I hope this particular point is clear to you. In next particular lecture, we'll continue our discussion from question number 11. Thank you.